Is
Comics and powered by the Red 5 Network. For more, visit red5.bio.link. Hello, everybody. I don't know why I hit played. This was supposed to be playing. I don't know why I think the incorrect buzzer played because I pressed the wrong button. So that
you can
would
always
make
press
sense.
the right one.
You can always press the right one. Graham Nolan, welcome to Comics and. Hello, how are you? Good morning.
Oh, good morning. It's nice to be here.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
So today is the final day of Giant Size Two-Fisted Manly Tales #2. So if you've been on the fence, this is it. And of course, joined here with the co-creator of Bane, Mr. Graham Nolan. How are you holding up on deadline day?
This book is done. The files are at the printer right now. As of tomorrow morning, we close at midnight tonight Eastern time. So by tomorrow morning, I'll have my final numbers. I'll send those to the printer, and the process will start. So this is going to be a fast turnaround book. This isn't like you get the funding so that it can be created. This book is done, so it's really a pre-order. Really,
that's amazing. That's exciting. That's exciting. So emotionally, you're just like ready to go.
Oh yeah. This one's easier for me because I'm the publisher. This is written by Chuck and artwork by the great Butch Geis, and there's some help from our old pal Eduardo Barreto and some other artists as well. 144 pages of testosterone leveling action. So
144. Giant size, no joke.
No joke.
That's absolutely insane.
And hardcover, so you can hit your enemies with it.
That's it's a weapon and a book.
That's right. Yeah.
That's perfect. I love that so much. So Graham, there's a little thing we do here on Comics and in the morning is we yell good morning at the chat.
Okay.
We yell good morning. So, of course, members and super chats get their good mornings first because our love is transactional. It's only fair that you should get what you pay for, right?
I hear that.
That's only fair. So our first, well, that's not a member. That's a mod. You don't count. Not yet. Sorry, bud. Let me scroll up here. Our first member is Deranged Lunatic. Good morning, Deranged Lunatic. How are you today? Or, I'm sorry, Ensign Deranged Lunatic. He is a member of the Nerdling Army. So
nice.
That's important. That's important. I believe he's the only member in the chat right now, so that's fine.
It must be the Nerdling Navy if he's an ensign.
Yeah. We're very laid back and we're kind of an amalgamation, eclectic, if you will. We're just like all over the place. So
Understood.
We're nerds. We don't care. We're non-denominational. We love it all.
That's cool.
We come from everywhere. And of course, our friend Kino, my contributing editor, Kino Reviews. Good morning. Mama Penny, my adopted mama Penny. Good morning. And of course, Scarif Scuttlebutt Podcast. Sorry, Podfather. I have to say good morning to the members first. They enlisted for a reason. They pay.
That's a reason.
That's a very good reason. And then, oh my gosh, is that Graham Nolan in the chat? I'm honored.
It is.
That's incredible. Incredible. Good morning, Monique. Good morning. Prater7 over there on Twitter. Good morning.
Right.
And Lee Brown. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everyone who's already here in the chat. Good morning. I accidentally, I don't know what I'm doing here. That's okay. Everyone has first days on the internet. I've been here for 6 years, but it's still my first day. It's fine. All right, we're going to turn the music down and we're just going to dive right into it. I'm going to show everyone the campaign right now so they can get a good idea of what we are talking about. This is so cool. This is really taking me back to some serious, like, golden age wartime comic book stuff. This is absolutely cool. Like, this is really giving me some golden age vibes. What can you tell me about Giant Size Two-Fisted Manly Tales?
Well, the story is basically sort of a what if history story. What if we did not develop the atomic bomb and we had to invade mainland Japan, which is a very real possibility. The U.S. government was planning on that. They were the war in Europe was over, and they were shipping guys over to the Pacific to get ready for that final invasion of mainland Japan. The government thought conservatively that we would take 1 million dead losses if we had to do that. And so in this story, Oppenheimer and the guys in the Manhattan Project are killed when they miscalculate the power of the bomb. So we don't get it. We don't have the bomb. So we have to invade mainland Japan. So it's sort of a cool historical what if we had to do that? How would that pan out? And because it was a very real possibility. In fact, we minted Purple Hearts that soldiers that were wounded in Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, and Afghanistan received from their wounds that were minted for this invasion. That's how many were minted. Up until about 20 years ago, did we have to create new ones. So it's a pretty scary thought, So this is a real ball-busting, lip-splitting, teeth-spitting action-adventure tale.
Well, the title, I mean, with that said, I mean, makes sense. The title really punches you in the face.
Yeah.
In a good way. I mean, that energy, really, you really feel that.
This is the second Giant Size. Actually, the first one was an anthology book. And that came about because I was tired of masculinity being put down by feminists and media. And I was out back having a cigar one day, and something set me off. I'm like, that's it. I got to do a book that celebrates toxic masculinity. So I called Chuck. I said, hey, here's what I'm thinking. Do you want to write a story for this? He goes, I'm in. So then I called 4 other guys and writers and said, here's what I'm thinking. I'm in. And then it just took off from there. Then I got these great artists like Butch Geis and Bart Sears and Kelsey Shannon and many others to contribute to it. And it was super successful. So I've been looking for a property or a story to do a second version. And then when Chuck came to me with this, I said, that's perfect. I wouldn't publish it as Storming Paradise. I would put it under the Two-Fisted Manly Tales banner, and the rest is history. It worked out perfect.
Well, I gotta say, I completely agree with you, and this is something I have talked about on my platform many times. Actually, I did kind of a video essay on it. Well, on the other side of things, that men and women are different. But that's not inherently a bad thing. We are supposed to be different for a very important reason.
Right.
And that you can have female superheroes with feminine superpowers. And I believe that Linda Carter's Wonder Woman is one of the best demonstrations of that we've ever had in modern history. And I kind of broke that down, and we've lost that in a very real sense. We have studios saying, well, this male character, we need more women. So instead of changing everything about it to make it a woman, they just give it a woman's name and put a female actress in that role. And that character has male attributes, and it doesn't make sense, and they can't figure out why is this not landing with the audience. And on the other side of it, we have steady told audiences, people that all of the things that make men who they are and important are inherently bad.
Right.
But let's face it, those attributes, those qualities about men are what has kept the human race alive.
That's exactly right.
What got us out of caveman times.
That's right.
Let's be
That's right.
real.
That built
So
societies, it built empires, it built cities,
absolutely, like
it offered protection from
exactly.
nature.
Exactly. One of the points I made in my essay was that yes, men had the aggression, the muscle, the bone density, the physical prowess
Mhm.
to hunt and kill the saber-toothed tiger and bring it home to feed the family. That is what they were meant to do, to protect and feed.
Mhm.
And the women were staying home, caring and raising the children, and they were actually able to pay attention to more things at once so that they could raise as many children as possible to make sure, oh my God, the saber-toothed tiger has actually snuck up on the children. Run away, run away. So where men do have that singular focus, it is for a reason. Women have that multiple focus, it is for a reason. So sitting here and saying that, this is a bad thing, that's a bad thing, is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
you're absolutely right, though. I mean, women are much better multitaskers than men because men get singular. They're problem solvers. They want to focus on something and problem solve it and get it done. And like my wife, she can do a million things at once. And I'm like, I can't do that.
There's actually a scientific biological reason for that. Women have more physical connections between their left and right hemispheres of their brain than men do. They actually discovered that. So there's actual biological reasons other than our reproductive organs that give us these differences. But Hollywood doesn't want us to know these things. So I love this idea. I love that you are celebrating this aspect of masculinity. I don't see it as toxic. The only thing I see that's toxic masculinity is when a man is seeing the differences in women as a bad thing. That to me, then that's what actual toxic masculinity is. Masculinity is never toxic. It is a necessary part of society and biology. So
I only use the toxic phrase because I know it triggers, and it's always used in a pejorative sense. To not just say masculinity, it's toxic masculinity, it's over the top masculinity. And that's exactly what these stories are. These are wish fulfillment, boys dreaming of high adventure and stuff like that. That's what they love, and
absolutely
they're the crux of the comic book reading community.
Absolutely. And I feel like in the last couple of decades, at least, a lot of a certain audience has forgotten that that's what comic books, that's what entertainment is all about. Fantasy,
right?
Universal fantasy, and men have universal fantasies as well. And this is absolutely one of them. You're telling me, men in the chat, men in the audience, anyone who's listening or watching, you've never had a fantasy where someone breaks into your house and you have to save your woman and your family? Are you serious? You've never had a fantasy where someone has tried to jack your car and you've had to get out and fight for what is yours? Yes, you have. You absolutely have. So I love this idea of providing that wish fulfillment and masculine fantasy for men out there. That's fan. And of course it's going to come from Graham Nolan and Chuck Dixon, like two of the greatest masculine comic book writers in history. So thank you very much.
Well, my pleasure. My pleasure.
What could people expect if someone were to pre-order this today,
Mhm.
within the next hour, what can they expect to get?
Well, it's a 144-page hardcover. There is a trade paperback as well, which happens to be on the screen right there for $50.
Mhm.
But the $75 pledge levels there's two covers, same book, 144 pages. It has a beautiful end sheets in it. They have spot UV on the cover, just like the original Two-Fisted Manly Tales. It's
Mhm.
just a nice collectible shelf deluxe hardcover. The trade paperback obviously is that's more of an entry level thing, less expensive.
Mhm.
But the hardcovers are the bomb.
Wow, you have so many options to choose from.
Yeah, and you get
Like,
signed ones too from Chuck and I. I think it's right there. Yeah, the hardcover set. So you get the two the two hardcovers, and they both be signed by Chuck and I.
that's a hell of a deal.
Yeah, try getting Chuck at a convention.
Yeah, that's impossible. Ask me how I know.
I know, right?
I had to do it in my pajamas.
That's
at
right.
at breakfast, eating my yogurt. But I did get some really good stories. So
That's
and
awesome.
some great pictures. Let's check in with the chat and see if we have any questions. Guys, if you want to go to the head of the line, it's $2 today. $2 super chats goes to the top of the line for questions for the legendary Graham Nolan. Oh my God, look at this artwork right here. I was looking over here and it just caught it out of the corner of my eye. This is so awesome. By the way, I was an Army wife, active duty Army wife for almost 2 decades.
Ah,
And I lived on Fort Hood for a while, which is, by the way, where they keep the tanks. And when I say where
yeah,
they keep the tanks, I mean the tanks. Like
yeah.
all the tanks are on Fort Hood. This is super cool. I love
That's
this
actually
shot.
George Patton. That's George Patton right there,
That is
firing the 50 cal on top of his tank.
This is so cool. Brimstone, good morning. He says, I got my Joe Frankenstein signed at MegaCon. Now they are signed by both Chuck and Graham.
Nice.
Nice. Nice. Lord Toth signed hardcovers are the way to go. And of course, we've got Kino dropping the link in the chat for us. I do have the link for the Fund My Comic pinned in the chat, so you can't miss it. All the links are also in the description below. You have no excuse. It's right there. So go for it, guys. He also says, do it.
Do it if you want to live.
If you want to live. Joe Frankenstein is one of my favorite books from Compass Comics line. Just good old-fashioned fun, and I still need to meet Chuck. He's lovely, absolutely. And Andrew Rodriguez, author of Arcstream at Ripaverse Comics, says one of the goats. One of the goats.
One of the goats.
Is he calling you old? I think he's calling you old, Graham.
Well, some days I feel like an old goat.
I love Andrew. I do. I'm just teasing him. Another one calling you an old goat.
No, you're putting the old in there. It doesn't say old goat. It's
okay. That's
editorial
you're right.
mischief right there.
I am known to shenan a time or two. We need more Misty and Meathead, he says.
From the Ghosts of Matacumba Key.
You have requests. It says, love giant size, especially my giant size man thing.
Oh, good for you.
That's a good choice.
Somebody's bragging.
He says, it's a great idea. As a veteran, I love war stories, especially alternate universe ones.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Yes, thank you, Toth. Thank you, Lord Toth. And then we have Mama Penny leaving the salon. Good. I hope you tipped her. I'm a former veteran salon owner, stylist myself. So there we go. Giant size 250 manly men. Tails #2. There's the link.
Thank
Go
you, Marcus.
now. Go now.
I got to
All
meet
right.
Marcus at South Carolina Con this past last weekend, I guess.
I've never been to that one.
Yeah,
Truth
it's a
be
great
told,
show. It's a great show.
Truth be told, I've only been to MegaCon. So,
Well, okay, so that makes sense.
well, I was raising kids for I'm still raising kids. So for about 26 years.
Yeah. Raising
No.
kids doesn't stop, I can tell you that.
That's yeah, it's frightening. I keep trying to tell my children the hardest part is when you grow up and leave, then the fear sets in. Then it's like, please take everything I have taught you to heart and use it and do well. Don't end up in jail or in a car wreck.
Don't embarrass your mother.
Yeah, don't embarrass you. My son came and visited yesterday and told me, you know why I've done well? It's because I realized I embarrassed you and I felt shame. And I was like, that's the most wonderful thing I've ever heard. So I do have a question because you're the co-creator of Bane. You've worked very famously for the big publishers. Do you approach indie projects differently than something like the big two, or is your mindset similar?
I would say it's similar. It's all about creating a good story. It's more satisfying, obviously. I don't have to seek permission or listen to anybody's opinion on something. In fact, the first couple books that I actually self-published had offered to other publishers, and they all turned them down. But I thought they were great ideas, and I crowdfunded them, and they were great ideas. Other people agreed, and it became, they did very well. So, you have to have confidence in your own ideas, and realize that you're not an island, that if you like something, you can find an audience for it.
And could you imagine telling Graham Nolan no? Like, no.
My wife does all the time.
I need to be more prepared for when people make jokes like that, because I have this.
There you go.
Like, why didn't I have that loaded and ready to go? It's StreamYard's fault. It really is. Go. I blame them.
I would.
A lot of people, obviously, as I've repeated many times, because I am who I am, know you as the co-creator of Bane. The man who broke the bat's back. When you look back, did you have any idea that character would become so iconic?
No. Whenever you do anything, when you ever create anything, you always are hoping that it's going to hit. We knew that this storyline was going to be a hit, with where we break Batman's back, the Nightfall storyline, and we thought that Bane would be popular within the storyline itself. But for him to go on into other media and actually tap into that social consciousness and zeitgeist, nobody can predict that. That just blew us away. I mean, it all started with the animated series, because that came out right around maybe a year after Vengeance of Bane, and he already appeared in another media format. And so that was the first one. And then there was Kenner produced toys of him, and it went from there. And then there was a lull. There was a long period there where Bane was nowhere to be found. And then the Arkham Asylum game, I think, is what revived him to a different generation. And it's like, he crops up here and there. And now a lot of people know him from, the stupid Christopher Nolan movies, but that's okay. They know him. They know who Bane is, and it's all about recognition, name recognition, and royalties.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. What would you say people most misunderstand about Bane as a character?
Oh, and this goes for writers that have taken shots at him. Is that Bane's just sort of like a big muscle head. He looks like a bodybuilder, wrestler type guy, and they don't understand his motivations fully. You know, Bane, you have to understand, Bane looks at the world through the eyes of a victim. He feels the world owes him. And in fact, he's not that wrong. I mean, he was an innocent child that was serving a sentence of his father. And he grew up in a prison, you know, with animals in there practically, and was experimented on. And, you know, so he did not have a good life. And so when he does things, you know, he feels he's owed this by society and owed by the world. And I think that's a very important aspect of who he is.
Where did you guys get the inspiration for him? Where did that come from?
Well, when they were deciding what to do with the storyline, you know, we knew we were going to break Batman's back and replace him with a more violent Batman. And that came about because Denny O'Neil, the editor of all the Bat books at the time, was getting a lot of flack from readers because The Punisher and Wolverine were the most popular books at the time. And fans were saying Batman needs to kill his villains because every time the Joker gets out, he kills people, and that's blood on Batman's hands. And in reality, that's blood on the justice system's hands, not Batman's. He puts them in jail, they let him out. But regardless, Denny decided, well, let's give them what they want and show them why it's a bad idea. So that was the impetus of why we were going to take Bruce Wayne out and replace him. We didn't have anybody in the rogues gallery to cover that, to do that. You know, somebody who was brilliant enough and powerful enough. And I think it was Chuck that came up with the idea. Well, what if this guy was an evil Doc Savage? And that was what lit the light for me. Was okay. The Doc Savage was one of my favorite, you know, pulp characters. I used to love to read those books when I was a kid. And if you look, when Bane has his mask off, you know, he is basically based on James Bama's Doc Savage paintings. The same type of facial structure. The widow's peak, the high widow's peak, he shaved around the sides of his head, you know, for his ports and all that kind of stuff. But that's basically the look I was going for. Once they determined that was going to be like his backstory, that and the fact he was being raised in a prison. And once I knew that, then you know, I figured, well, what kind of a costume would he wear? You know, if he was going to wear a costume, I figured he'd be inspired by Mexican lucha libre, you know, the Mexican wrestling. Luchadors, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that's the angle I took when designing his look, you know. And Denny wanted to have the drug he created, Venom, which he created for a Legends of the Dark Knight story. It'd be something that you know, hulks him up, that type of thing. But you know, because of comics code, we couldn't have him injecting himself with needles, so we needed some type of delivery device. So you know, I came up with the thing on his arm that would go back into the ports into his head, and he presses the button, and voila! I will break you.
I will break you. I have to say though, I'm a huge, massive Wonder Woman fan. Like, she is always been my favorite since I was a little girl, and I will always have beef with Denny over 1968.
Oh, you didn't like the what was her name? Emma Peel, Wonder Woman?
No, I did not care for her working in a fashion boutique, being under the tutelage of I Ching.
Uh-huh.
And not having any powers. And I know he felt like he was being super feminist with it, but he was like, I realize now that was the opposite of what I was doing. I'm like, I'll never not be upset about that. Like, that was terrible.
The books look great though. I mean,
there's some fantastic,
and Dick Giordano's artwork was great.
There's some beautiful 1960s pop art. Like I'll give them that, but that ain't Wundy, man.
Yeah, well, I get it. You know, they were trying to change things up, you know, and they did that with Wonder Woman, and then Denny took over Superman too, and he wrote the Kryptonite No More storyline and the Sand Creature and all that, which I loved. Denny hated it. He hated writing Superman, and I said to him, I said, Denny, the reason it was so good is because you hated writing it. You know, you were trying to think outside the box because of you didn't get who the character was. And you came up with some great ideas and some, you know, you put Superman through some really cool shit. So yeah, I agreed with him.
Poor Denny. He had some rough times. He had some rough times. But man, the question.
Mm.
The question. I love the question. So back to Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Did anything from your years working, you know, with the Bat influence how you approach storytelling with this new project with Manly Tales?
No, no. Storytelling is storytelling. You know, there's good ones and there's bad ones, and you have to learn the techniques to make them good, and you know how to avoid pitfalls. And you know, I've been doing it long enough that you know, it's just a question of fitting in the characters into the story. You know, whether it's Batman or it's Joe Frankenstein or whatever. You know, you create your own rules when you're telling a story, and once you lay those down, you know, you try not to break them.
Right. I was gonna say you got to follow those rules.
Yeah, because that's when it gets wacky. It's like a movie. You know, when a movie, you know, asks you to suspend disbelief, and then they go way over what that line was, that contract they drew with you. That's when the movie goes to shit. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. I know
The same
exactly what
thing
you're
with these
talking about.
stories. You know.
So if Bane existed in the world of two-fisted Manly Tales,
Hmm.
what would he look like?
It would depend on the story I was telling with him. You know, if we were creating
Yeah.
him out of whole cloth for something brand new, I suspect he wouldn't look like a luchador. You know,
Yeah.
it would depend on, again, he was created for story need. So my guess is he would look differently based on whatever that story need was.
Well, fair enough.
Yeah.
You've seen the comics industry from pretty much every single angle.
Mhm.
How has crowdfunding changed the game for creators?
It's been huge. You know, Marvel and DC, the comic book industry was kind of built on organized crime money
Yes.
way
Yeah.
back in the 1930s, and they became a monopoly as well. When everything filtered down to Marvel and DC being the big two, they ran distribution. You know, in the 1960s, you know, Marvel was even being distributed by DC Comics' newsstand distributor, which is why Marvel could only publish so many books a month up until 1968. In 1968 is when you see Tales of Suspense, Tales to Astonish branch out into 4 new books. You know, Hulk, Submariner, the Silver Surfer, Captain America, and Iron Man. All those books now could be published under their own titles because they went with a different distribution model, and were able to get things out. But that's, you know, when you control all that, you know, you're at their mercies. So if you want to make it and be considered a professional, you got to get in to one of those 2 companies. And it was very difficult, you know, when you're a young guy coming up and you've got to compete with John Buscema and Jack Kirby and later on, you know, John Byrne and Frank Miller. That's very difficult. You don't have a lot of outlets. And so you need their permission, so to speak. You have to work in a style that they find palatable, that you can, you know, basically sell yourself for a page rate. Well, now, long years later, we got crowdfunding, and that allows you, the artist, writer, creator, to produce the kind of comics you want to do. As I said earlier, finding your audience is the key. You know, if you believe in it, okay, make it work. Find that audience that will believe in it also. And that's where the heavy lifting gets done in crowdfunding, is finding your audience. You know, when you work for the big 2, you're getting a paycheck, you have a deadline, and you're plowing through and you're getting stuff done. When you're when you're crowdfunding, you're wearing different hats. A few hours here you're drawing and writing, a few hours here you're marketing, a few hours here you're creating assets for campaigns. You're art directing. You're dealing with printers and their needs and specs. So there's a lot to do that you have to take into account. And then, of course, there's fulfillment and shipping, and material that you have to get. So it's a lot more work than just taking a paycheck working for Marvel or DC, but the end result is so much more satisfying because you own it. You own it outright, and you don't have to change anything you don't want to change. The only thing that's going to make you rethink it is your audience's reaction.
It is a lot of work, and it is scary more often than it is not, but it is fulfilling. It is incredibly fulfilling. What separates a campaign that succeeds from one that just disappears into the void?
Well, I think there's three things, and they're not mutually exclusive, and some of them butt up against each other. One is luck. You can never discount luck. The other is the hard work of going outside the box and building that audience. And then the third thing is a good product. It has to be professional looking. It has to be a good story. Those are non-negotiable. It doesn't matter what type of YouTuber you are or internet sensation. If you produce shit, you may get a big audience in the beginning because they're willing to try it, but once you've introduced them to it, it's keeping the audience, and you have to have a good product for that.
So someone's watching right now, they're interested, but they haven't backed it yet. What do you say to them?
Back it. That's very simple. Get out there and back it. Support independent comics and independent creators. Find the ones that you like, whose work you like, who fulfill on time, and stick with them. That's another dovetailing back to what you had asked about what's different, is the direct connection with your fan base, your customers. There's no distributor, there's no publisher. That's not you. So it's a wonderful exchange between the creator and the customer. If there's a problem, somebody has an issue, man, my email's right up there. Just email me and I see it and I handle it. I'm talking to you directly. And then they'll give me suggestions too. Have you ever thought about including blah blah in the next campaign, or this or that, or manufacturing this? And I take all of that stuff into heart. It's like, well, okay, that's a cool idea. Is it feasible? Is it profitable? All that kind of stuff. So I love that. I love the interchange between the fans. I see in chats as well. I see a lot of folks that I know from just because they've backed my projects and they tune into my shows and stuff like that. So it's great. I love it.
Did you set up the campaign yourself?
Yeah, I set up all the campaigns myself.
That's impressive, because I set mine up and I just feel stupid. It's overwhelming. At least to me, it feels overwhelming, because you don't realize when you are creating comics that part of that job is being a salesman and basically just straight up having to whore yourself, to all these people that you first have to get them to believe you. You have to get them to believe you and believe you are capable. And then they're like, all right, I'll check out what they're trying to sell. And then you've got them on board. setting up that campaign
I would
is
actually
scary.
argue. I would actually argue that you got to get them to like you, to get you to, and that's the thing about this type of stuff, YouTubing and all that kind of stuff is your personality can come out for good or bad. Some people get up there and they just can't do it, or they're shy or they don't have a, engaging personality. But if you can get people to fall in love with you, they're willing to try what it is that you're passionate about and working on. Then it's up to you as to whether you're going to keep them and hold on to them based upon how you interact with them, how you deliver on your product and your product itself.
I was told to my editor, my friend Caro, she's like, stop being so Catholic. Start talking about it more. Get rid of the Catholic guilt. It's fine. You're like, okay.
Well, that's part of our faith, though.
Yeah.
It comes with it,
Yeah. What will people regret missing if they don't jump in before this deadline?
Well, they're going to miss out on a great story and a great product. And I always overprint some so that it goes up on my website at compasscomics.com. But you're going to pay more for it. The backers get the best deals. There's also a couple stretch goals that have been hit. There's a really cool bookmark. I like to do a bookmark for every one of my books. And then there's a mini print of the painting of Butch's main cover that doesn't have any of the trade dress on it. So that's really cool too. So you get that with every order of the books.
So other than, the bookmarks and stuff, are there any other last minute surprises or exclusive people should know about?
Well, it depends on, stretch goal numbers, I'm not sure what number we're at right now. I think we're over 25,000. I think 30,000 is the next stretch goal.
Let's see. Let me pull this back up. Let me remove, and there we go. And where's
you know what it was? 30,000 is the next stretch goal, but I've already included that in. I think the 30,000 stretch goal was the addition of spot UV on the cover, and an upgrade basically, which I've already bit the bullet on, because I want the book to look great, regardless of whether we hit the 30. So that's already included.
That's awesome.
I love you guys.
So, okay, real quick, favorite page or moment in this book?
Favorite page I used in the campaign here is I think the B-17's bombing.
That one.
That one there, yeah. That is a deceptively hard looking page. It looks so much easier, people he just draws the one plane and then you stat it down and move it around and stuff like that. No. Each one of those planes is drawn by hand individually. You can tell because the pitch is different, the yaw is different, the angles are different, and the perspective. Yeah. Every one of those things. And then you got the smoke, you got the 3 levels of dimension there, foreground, middle ground, background. I'm always impressed by great workmanship, and that's a great page by Butch.
It's beautiful. Like I caught myself trying to lean in and inspect it more. Like it's great. It's fantastic.
And the other one is I think it's the last one on there. It's where the plane is dive bombing there it is. The plane. No, yep, there you go. The plane is dive bombing the submarine there. That second where you have the submarine going one way, you've got the angle of the plane crossing over it, and then the lighting is from the machine guns. I love that, man. And then he's got the white green water effects going back there behind the sub against the black. Just beautiful.
Oh, that's some talent, man. That's gorgeous. Yeah. Just gorgeous. One word to describe this project.
Finished.
That's a great word. We like that word.
Yeah.
We like that word.
There's too many crowdfunding projects that don't get or haven't been fulfilled. And I fulfill everything. My wife works for me, and our daughter helps during fulfillment as well. So once the books are in, we're shipping, nonstop until everybody gets them. So
What's your secret? What's your trick to get your kids to help you out, work for you? Because I've got 4 and not a one of them has any interest in helping me with this business. They're like, it's whatever.
It's called a paycheck.
All right, I'll try that one.
Was it. Yeah. I'm with you.
My son is going to be really ticked off when he finds out you were on today and he had to work. He's going to be so mad. Okay. Coffee or chaos while working?
Coffee or chaos?
Yeah. Do you drink coffee, or are you like, no, I'm just going to raw dog it?
Oh no, I have my coffee every morning before my workout, and then after I get back from the gym, I come home and then I start my work. So it's not necessarily chaos, but it's chaos before I have my coffee in the morning. I got to get that in.
Well, you're looking amazing. Good for you. You can tell that you're working at the gym. I have a home gym that I've put together. Character you've worked on that deserves more love.
You mean like for Marvel and DC?
Any character you worked on that you feel deserves more love.
Sorry, there is nothing to repeat.
That was weird. I would have to say the Shanu.
Oh, I've heard. Yes.
Yeah, the Shanu. That's my other campaign that I'm working on right now. That's funding on Indiegogo. Shanu 77. I wrote the original Shanu as a movie, as like a Netflix movie, and I've been trying to get. And everybody who reads this says, "Oh my God, this would be such a great horror film," and
it would be.
I've had people look at it, at Netflix and stuff, but I can't get them to fall in love with the idea of doing it because they say, "Oh, we're going to need a screenplay first. We like the idea and all that." So I would love for that thing to get made as a movie. And in the follow-up book, Shanu 77, there's some really great reveals in that about the creature, and it's pretty cool.
Have you seen the discourse about the Pragmata game, about the man protecting the little girl, and some online whoever she was like men don't have the instinct to protect children, it's predatory. That's so weird to me. I think it would be a phenomenal idea to make a film about this man protecting this baby he finds from this creature. When I was reading about that, I was blown away. I'm like, this would make an absolutely amazing movie. I would watch that so hard. It's right in my wheelhouse. It's absolutely phenomenal. I mean, kudos all across the board. It's so cool.
I think
check that out.
Women for that reason is that you're seeing a man in protective mode, trying to protect this baby at all costs, and it's also about some of his own demons. Things that happened to him in the past when he was in Vietnam, because this story takes place in 1977, and Vietnam was a short time before that. So he's dealing with his own demons. He's trying to fight a real demon, and he's he's trying to protect the baby and stay alive during this blizzard.
And I would absolutely, he said, Stormtrooper Julius Caesar said, it's Mary from Pop Culture Crisis. That woman is a moron. I responded to that and said, my husband has been raising our daughter for the last 10 years as his own. And he would lay his life down for that little girl. He absolutely adores her. Men absolutely do have an instinct for children, whether they're theirs or not. So she can absolutely stuff it up her ass.
Have you ever seen
the idiot?
The video? It's like Dad's Being Dad's video, and it's on.
Yes.
So it's like a bat is flying across.
He's like,
the father and son, and the dad sticks his hand out
Yeah.
instinctively. There's one
Yeah.
that the kid is falling off the couch, and the dad dives and puts his body underneath it, and the kid falls on top of him. There's ones where they're running by, and they're on bike or something. He just scoops them up. It's like it's this instinctual thing.
There's
we work
that
out with our kids, but we understand the physical aspects of physicality when you're dealing with kids, and when they're going to get hurt, when they're going to have fun. But they love it. They love that
toxic masculinity you were talking about earlier.
You put a dad in a room with a kid, and the first thing he's going to do is pick it up. Is pick the kid up, and a mother will get down and talk to it and do that, and dad's going to throw the kid.
Yeah.
I remember one time during a blizzard, my dad picked me up. I threw a snowball at him, and he chased me, and he grabbed me, and he threw me over the neighbor's fence into the snow. He just went like this, and, whoo, and off I went to the snow, and I laid there, and I was cracking up. It was so great.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh God. One piece of advice for indie comic creators out there.
I got a lot of advice, but
well, any advice you want to give.
Yeah. Be authentic. Know your limitations too. I think one of the big things is trust. In indie comics is building that trust up with your backers. So if you tell them something, work your ass off to make that happen. And if there is an issue, be transparent and keep them in the loop. They're very forgiving. Like I know I promised this in June. Well, the printer schedule is not going to allow it till July, or I decided to take a little extra time on this page because it's going to pay off in the end for you. As long as you're honest and you let them know that you haven't just driven off to Vegas with the money, and that it's coming, and that everything you're doing is working towards that. I think they're going to be very forgiving to you. But if you don't do that, you run the risk of losing them forever as a backer.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's really good advice. So we know that we can find the campaign on Fund My Comic. We have the link several places in the chat. It's pinned. I have it in the description. We've shown everybody. Where can they follow you and keep up with your work?
The best is go to compasscomics.com and sign up as a subscriber, and then you'll get my newsletters, my convention appearances. Every Monday you'll get my Sunshine State comic strip sent to you, sent to your mailbox. So that's the best, and my email's there too. So then you can contact me directly. So and there's links to my other campaigns too. All my previous stuff is for sale on the store there. But then there's also like the link to Shnu 77 is on there as well.
And you're all over social media too. You're on Instagram, Twitter.
Yep. Yeah. Facebook. Yeah.
Oh, Facebook.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Oh, Facebook. It's
Facebook.
More like just to connect with some friends there,
Yeah.
It's not a good selling platform.
No, I can completely agree with you on that.
Yeah. I get no traction over there. X is the best for me, I find.
I agree. I completely agree. And it's not a vacuum. So
right.
Any final messages to fans before we close and the campaign closes tonight?
Well, tune into my YouTube channel because Chuck and I will be closing this out, and we're going to have some of our friends on. I know Billy Tucci is going to pop in, and we'll have some other folks coming on. We'll be talking comics and current affairs and all that kind of fun stuff as we close it out. And then the other thing I would just like to say is I want to thank everybody who has backed any of my Compass Comics projects. The folks in the chat here, for tuning into Danny's show and listen to me ramble on. I do appreciate your time and of course your support. We're a team. We do this together, and I can't do it without you. So thank you.
That's nice. Thank you so much for joining me today, Graham. You are an absolute awesome dude. You're an absolute legend. And I can't thank you enough for sacrificing an hour of your morning with me today. I appreciate that.
Oh, not at all. I appreciate the invite, and I want to thank Kino for facilitating it for us. He's a good dude.
He is, and I appreciate all his hard work and efforts on my behalf. He's a big help on the channel.
Outstanding. It's a great show, and you're a real pro. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm going to walk around a little taller today now, which I absolutely need. I'm under 5 foot tall, so I can use all the help I can get.
You're like my wife's height.
Oh, yay. All right, guys. I hope you have an awesome day. Make sure to check out the description below for all the links. You got the links for Compass Comics, for all of his campaigns right now, especially for Two Fisted Manly Tales #2, which closes at midnight. So make sure you get your copy right now before midnight. If you miss it, that's kind of on you, because you're going to have to go to compasscomics.com and pay more.
Yep. And that's after everybody's fulfilled. So
that's right. You're going to be
backers
waiting.
Get it first. So
that's
be
right.
A backer. Damn it, be a backer.
Be a backer.
Join the team of cool kids.
Of course. All the cool kids are doing it. All the cool kids support indie comics like Graham's and like mine.
Yes.
Like mine. Support mine too. Support Veiled Legacy Book 1 Midwest Gothic over on Fund My Comic as well. It's in the description below as well. So you guys have an awesome day. I'll see you next week. Support indie comics and keep your eyes peeled. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Disney and Kathleen Kennedy are gonna get you!